In this session, we'll concentrate on configuring Wireshark. So I already had a Wireshark log file open. We're just going to go through and show how we add these columns and which columns might be useful. So once you're in Wireshark, you want to get Wireshark from the Ixia directory and the Ixia download site, and use the Wireshark that has the VariWave dissectors already built into it. That way, on each one of the frames, the additional information is available to you that's shown down through here. So we've got the flow and client ID, the VariWave sequence number, latency for that individual frame, the timestamp of that frame, interframe gap information, the power. If you're using an 802.11 AC card, you end up with signal power on each one of the antennas shown differently, shown individually. So all of the information that comes out of the card itself is available here. It's very, very useful for diagnosing problems. So if we go to the Edit Preferences selection, this opens up our preferences and we can add or edit columns. So we're going to edit columns. Now I've already set this up, and these are the types of things that you ought to add to your Wireshark analysis. We'll just go through them and you can see what the names are here, but let's just do one for you. So let's say we were going to add FCS. We add a new column. You're going to then overwrite it, FCS error, let's call it. Now, most of these are custom, so you're going to select custom, and then if you type ixVariWave dot, you begin to see all the different extensions that are available to you, antenna signal, etc. But there's ixVariWave things like sequence number, ixVariWave client ID, ixVariWave flow ID, ixVariWave interframe gap, and MCS. Those are ones that I would suggest you use. The ixVariWave MCS is the MCS index. IFG is the interframe gap, very, very important. Sequence number is the VariWave sequence number that's embedded in the frame. The client and flow are the client and flow IDs that the applications give the flows. The WLAN sequence number is not a VariWave one, it's just WLAN.sequence under custom. And then there are some VW flags, and you can see what those are: decrypt errors, encrypt errors, etc., retry errors. But the most useful one is FCS error. So that's how you go in and configure Wireshark to show you some of the additional Wireshark information that's available from the radio tap headers. So I'm going to cancel out of this because I already have it. And now as you're doing your packet captures and your analysis, you can be seeing all the information that's on the air that's very useful to your analysis. I tend to look a lot at interframe gaps, see what's going on with the power, see if the sequence numbers are being skipped. If you're chasing a loss problem, you'll want to see where the WLAN sequence numbers and the VW sequence numbers aren't going forward in order. If you are seeing a lot of retries, you can look for FCS errors. So for example, if we filter on WLAN FC retry, for example, and you can get that, by the way, by just going, selecting a frame and working your way down, and you'll find the check. So you can right click this and say prepare a filter selected. And that's FCS error. So that was FCS error. Retry. If we go down a little bit further here, there's the retry bit. So if we prepare a filter selected, There's that WLAN-FC retry. So you don't have to remember necessarily the names of them. You can go and pick out the thing that you want. So I want that equal to 1. Let's apply it. And indeed, we see very few retries here. But a trick is that if you have a lot of retries or something that you're looking for, filter on it, then go Edit, Mark All Displayed Packets. It'll turn them all black. Not sure why it's not doing it, but it'll turn them all a particular color. And then, there, they turn black. And then if you clear the expression, those frames will show up more easily as black frames, or you can change Wireshark to come up with a different color, but then it's easier to find things within Wireshark. So that's configuration of Wireshark.